Welcome to Afterthoughts with Erica. My name is Erica O'Meara, and as I begin my journey to becoming an end-of-life doula, I'm challenging myself to talk to 100 people about death, dying, and what comes next. Join me as we explore these stories and work together to make the topic of death less uncomfortable, one conversation at a time. Afterthoughts with Erica is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely of the speakers and do not represent legal, medical, or financial advice. This series does not supersede any written last will and testament, legal documents, or directives. Please note that this series may contain adult subject matter and with strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to Afterthoughts with Erica. Today, I am joined by a very special guest, Katelyn. She is a former massage client of mine. I took care of her when she was pregnant, and we were just saying today is the first day of kindergarten for her daughter, so we can't believe how quickly time has flown. But Katelyn is a mother, a wife, a small business guru, and we are here today to talk about death. Are you ready, Katelyn?
I am so ready. Bring it on.
All right. First question is always the hardest. Are you afraid of death?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is, the fear of death started for me at a very young age. I remember, curled up on my parents' floor, sleeping as, maybe a 7 or an 8-year-old. And I had this profound, overwhelming sense of dread that, one day my parents, my brothers, everyone I know, and even myself are eventually going to die. And it was such like a crazy realization. I just remember like crying myself to sleep that night. Um, so yes, I am afraid of death. That's when it started. I feel like there's just so much to do, so much to take care of. And for me, so far in my almost 38 years of existence, it has been such a great life, and I just want to keep it going. So yeah, I'm not ready. And, since my dad died about a year and a half ago, I've just been trying to get everything in, squeeze everything in that I can.
I mean, it is good to relate that fear of death to making life better, and taking
Mhm.
hold of life by the cojones and living it to its fullest. So sometimes that like little fear in the back of your head can be a driver. It can be a driver to live more fully.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Is there a death in the past that has profoundly changed the way that you view death and dying?
For sure. So I was about 13 or 14, and it was my grandmother back in November of 2000. She was making dinner for a big Halloween dinner for our family of like 30 people because we were all getting together. And she had a stroke. And it
Mm.
was it was the first person that was close to me to pass away. Before she died, I was in such a safe little bubble with my family. And that all changed and, kind of got jumbled up when she passed. um, you know, Things were never the same. I never felt safe after that. She lived next door to us. And I remember it was about 3 months after she passed away, I got my hair cut. And I was so excited to go over and show her. And I opened the door and then I remembered she was gone. So that's something that still really, really sticks with me, it's how many years later. So
Sure.
yeah, that one hit me hard.
And it was sudden and
Very
unexpected.
sudden. Yes.
Sometimes those are the roughest.
Hmm.
Yeah.
First one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you believe in the afterlife?
I want to. I think we've talked about this before. I'm a Virgo, and I need that solid proof, right? So I really want to. My dad died in January of 2023. And the day that he died, my family and I were having a get together at my parents' house, kind of just talking about dad. And holding each other while we cried. And, with so many people there, somebody had to do the dishes. And I stood there at the kitchen sink doing dishes, just like I would for any big dinner or holiday. My dad would always tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, Kate, I got this. I want to make a plate. Go sit down." And that day I was doing dishes and I felt somebody tap me on my shoulder. And it was real. It was like I thought it was my mom or my sister-in-law coming to say, "Hey, I'll take over." So that really got me. And I had a dream about my dad a few months ago. I was in the basement of my parents' house, and he walked in, and he had this bright white glowing light around him. It was almost ethereal. And he came to me and he gave me a hug that felt so real. Like I knew I was lucid dreaming, like half awake, half asleep. And he said, "I'm okay, Kate. Like, you don't have to worry." And I said, I remember exhaling and I feeling myself breathe as I was sleeping. And I said, "Oh my God, mom's upstairs. You have to go tell mom. She's so worried about you." And I watched him ascend up the stairs with this bright light around him. So those two instances make me think that there's something. So I really hope and pray that there is an afterlife of some sort for those who have passed and for ourselves as well.
When you said that he touched your shoulder, I got like full body chills.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
is amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
from a Virgo to a Virgo, I totally get the
Get
cleaning the
it.
dishes part.
Yeah.
But what a wonderful gift that was given to you.
Yeah.
That is just so beautiful, and how reassuring for him to come back
Mm-hmm.
and tell you that. It's wow, like woo, the chills.
It makes me think that there is something else out there.
Yeah. And what a great sort of not a promise, but it's in your mind. It's implanted in your
Mm-hmm.
mind now that there is, and maybe that can be a comfort, when you
Mm-hmm.
need it.
For sure.
So that's ooh, I got the chills. um, so if you could have an ideal death, what would that look like?
I'm going to give a canned answer and say in my sleep after a long life. Hopefully, just giving my remaining loved ones peace, to know that I'm okay. And you know what? The only thing ideal about my death is that I want my remaining loved ones to know I had a full life. I was happy. So however I go is how I go, right? We don't have control over that. So I try not to stress over that, and whatever happens, happens, whatever be will be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. The sort of maybe peaceful dying in your sleep after a long life, I think that that would be an ideal death for most of us.
One could hope.
Hopefully nowhere near the future.
We got a lot of stuff to do.
That is the truth. If you could bring one thing with you in death, what would it be?
I I thought long and hard about this question, and there's nothing material in this world that means anything to me. And I think after having children or animals or pets, when we have something that we love more than ourselves, all of that material stuff goes out the door. So I just want to be reunited with family members that have passed, and I want, if anything, the ability to watch over ones that are still living. That's what I want to take with me.
I love that. It's as I do these interviews with people, a resounding, intrinsic thing is spoken. It has been rare for people to take material things with them in death, but yes, it's like an inner something that they want
Mm-hmm.
to like recreate or take with them in death. And I, when I formed that question, I was thinking material things,
Mm-hmm.
and like, oh, my favorite blanket, or like, and it's been very interesting to hear really the deep thoughts that you guys have put into that answer. and just sort of eschewing all material things and wanting to take intrinsic things with you, which I believe can happen, to be honest, because that's part of your energy molecules. What you have in you already is part of your energy. So I think that that's totally feasible.
I think that lives on with our children too. I think they take so much of our energy, figuratively and intrinsically. So, just watching, not only a part of myself and my husband, but watching our child do things that like my dad did. He did this funny dance. We called it the Batman dance. And watching her do that as she freestyle dances at cheer practice, just little things like that. I hope they know that their memory lives on even in silly little things like that.
That's so cool. Yeah, I totally believe that. And you're right. Like a little piece of us gets passed down to each generation, and maybe it piggybacks, we all have a little bit of all of our ancestors in us. So if you were to have a funeral, how would you want your funeral to go?
I want people, I used to joke about this all the time. This is what I want at my funeral. I don't want, and I still will stand by this, no carnations. I will leave money in the budget for very nice flowers because flowers make me happy. It's not like a money thing or anything like that. It's just nice flowers make me happy, right? I want people gathered around my coffin and sharing their memories with me and laughing. I want nothing more than just to have good vibes. I want a good party afterwards, right? Throw me in the ground, throw me wherever. I'm not there anymore. So that, that doesn't matter. That's my body. I'm not there. Have a good party and make sure, somebody gets in trouble, somebody, you're playing good music, because that's what I would want.
Okay. So speaking of music, what would be on your funeral playlist?
I take music very seriously. So I had a very long list ready for you, Erica, and I've narrowed it down to 7 songs. I hope that's okay.
It's totally fine.
If I Ever Leave This World Alive by Flogging Molly. Hear You Me by Jimmy Eat World. Stop This Train by John Mayer. Before my dad died, I would always play that song and just sit here and cry for hours. Not that I want crying at my funeral, but these are songs that, like Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve, I Feel Home by OAR, With a Little Help from My Friends by Joe Cocker, and Young Forever by Jay-Z. Got some covers in there. Sometimes the covers are better than the originals, but just good songs that
you have a good roundabout list there. I believe that's a very well-rounded list. A little Jay-Z,
a little bit of everything.
OAR,
yeah, right?
little emo
yeah.
there.
If this list does not sum me up, I don't know what does.
I love it. And it's so important that there's like emotions or memories tied to those songs.
Yes.
That definitely brings in the right feeling and the right vibe. A wonderful list. After death, what do you want done with your body?
I would like to be cremated and just spread somewhere that means something to me. I don't want to be in a ground. I don't want to be somewhere, like I'm from 2 hours north of here. I don't want to be buried up there and, not have family members be able to visit me because I'm stuck in one location. Go somewhere where we were once together and think of me. So that's what I want.
That's lovely. And it is, if it's something that you want people to have access to, that's definitely always a variable there. And probably, like you said, it's more important for the location would be important to you, rather than trying to make everybody happy.
Exactly. We've been
Which is
doing it our whole
impossible, as we
lives,
know.
and I'm not doing it in death.
Good for you. Set those boundaries even in death.
Right. Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries.
All right. So this one's a fun one. I love asking this one. If you could haunt somebody after death, who would it be? And I preface it with everybody. It can be naughty or it can be nice. And it does not have to be anybody you know. It can be whatever you want. It's just supposed to meant to be, fun.
Okay. So I did take this seriously, although I didn't know it could be, a random person or, somebody who I want to meet. But I chose my daughter. I want to be able to move things, freak her out, visit her in her dreams like my dad did, and just keep making her laugh. You know what I mean? Like if you move the sugar in the kitchen one day and she's like, oh, Mom, I want her to not be afraid of death like I am afraid of death. I want her to be comforted knowing that there is an afterlife. And I'm slowly getting there with myself now and in my process of grieving. So I want her to know that we do go somewhere when we pass and that I'll be there waiting for her when it's her time.
That's lovely. Have you guys talked at all? This is off script, but have you guys talked at all about death together?
So she recently asked me about it. She goes, Mommy, am I going to die one day? And it's so profound for a 5-year-old to say that. And I said, I'm not going to lie to her. I don't want to lie to her. So I said, yes, baby. She goes, I don't want to do that. And she's had actually a little friend in her daycare pass away. So, she's between my dad, my aunt. She's been exposed to death a lot in her little life. So we just said, when it's our time, it's our time. I said, hopefully it won't be for a very, very, very long time, but I will die one day. You will die one day. So it's hard to have those conversations. So hopefully as she gets older and a little bit more mature, we can talk about it a little bit. I feel like I want to keep her in that bubble that I was in before my grandmother died. I'm not doing a very good job of it, but that's on, my family members who have passed. That's their fault for doing it so soon. But yes, we've talked about it a lot more than I would have liked to.
Okay. There are books out there. I think I recommended one a while ago because somebody had reached out to me. But there's some really wonderful fact-based, like age-appropriate books out there. If kids do start asking, they're definitely out there. And sometimes they can be the vehicle, to get the conversation started and organized, like a Virgo likes.
I was gonna say we love some organization here, so I gotta look out for those.
Yeah. Okay, so last question. What do you want people to remember you for after your death?
I got a long list here. So
give it to me, sister.
First and foremost, a quote by Robert Frost. There are 3 words that can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. Don't let sadness linger. People that have passed before us don't want that for us. I don't want that for anybody that I love. So just keep living as if I were here. And I still am in a way, right? Hopefully with that afterlife thing that we keep talking about, that I can look over you. So just live like I was here. I have a friend whose mom passed away when she was young, and she talks out to her all the time, and she'll just have a conversation with her. So I love that. Just keep moving on and keep talking. But I want to be remembered for how I made people feel. I want people to feel like they're important to me, that they're heard, that they're comforted. I want people to remember how I made them laugh. Just amazing core memories, going to an amusement park and oh gosh, that one roller coaster, and we just kept laughing the whole time. just stuff like that. I don't necessarily want to make a huge difference in the world or the grand scheme of things. I want to make a difference to those around me. Um, I keep thinking about that movie Coco, where honoring the loved ones that have passed and honoring their memory and just keep talking about them so they're not forgotten. We still talk about my Nana. We even talk about her mother from time to time. So I want that from my parents. I want that from me. I want that from my daughter. So we can keep remembering each other, right? And keeping that memory going on and on and on. So that's what I want to be remembered for.
That's it.
That's it. I could go on, but I digress.
I think one of the beautiful things about this project is that this is going to go out into the interwebs, for like ever. So, Nora or anybody who wants to go back and look at your answers, it'll be there and it's you, saying it, which is even more important, So, and
well, then I'm going to change a few answers.
edit. Well, I definitely know your sense of humor will live on.
I hope and I pray.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I super duper appreciate it. And for somebody who told me in their biography that they were super fearful of death, I think that you handled this like a pro. You did great. And I feel like you have a really good foundation for going forward and, having that communication with your family, especially your daughter,
Yeah, thank you.
You're off to a good start, girl.
Gonna make me cry. Thank you. That means a lot.
You're doing a great job. I see it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. And thanks for doing this, because honestly, I love hearing other people's perspectives. And it definitely gives me so much more comfort hearing what other people think. And, maybe there's something I didn't think of, or, kind of shine the light on a lot of other thoughts. So thanks for doing this.
You're welcome. I can't wait for people to start watching and realizing that none of us are alone. And we all have this common thing, in death. And it doesn't have to be scary. It's okay. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
Keep telling ourselves that.
That's right. Fake it till you make it, girl. All right, babe. It was so good talking to you.
You too. Take care. And I can't wait to see this.
Tell your friends. Get them on the series. Spread the word.
I'm gonna share right now.
All right. I'll talk to you later, sweetie.
All right. Bye.
Bye. How do you want your funeral to go?
As we get older, we attend more funerals and we see different things. And some funerals I've been to were so sad and dramatic, and it wasn't because it was a tragic death. It was people who were, elderly. I really want my funeral to be a celebration of my life. That's what we did with my late husband. We put together, which is a lot more common now. It wasn't, I lost him 23 years ago. It wasn't as common, but we put together a video with our favorite songs and pictures of him throughout his life with loved ones. I would want something like that. And I even have a poem that I found. I found when he had passed, and it's probably pretty common. A lot of people know it. It's by Mary Elizabeth Fry. Do not stand at my grave and weep. And should I read it?
Please.
Okay. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, it changed it to tush, which is kind of funny. Okay. That was probably someone messing with me. I am the swift uplifting of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am that there. I did not die. And that kind of goes with my belief that we don't die. Our energy just changes or moves, our form. So, that's how I'd want my funeral. I'd want it to be a happy celebration. And I hope, that there'll be enough people that love me that are still here, that can share, happy thoughts, funny thoughts, stupid things that I've done, you know, just, to make my little mark on earth. I'm not going to have like a building or any, famous artwork or anything like that, but I want to be in the hearts of the people that I leave behind.
I absolutely love that poem. That's one of my favorites. And I think I share that same sentiment that when people go, they're still here, wherever you see them.
Right. And mostly they're here. They're in your heart. I really feel that.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
What are some of the songs that you want played at your funeral? Like your funeral playlist?
I actually took the time to look some things up, and I like "In My Life" by the Beatles, "Fields of Gold" by Sting, which, funnily enough, I mean, not funny, but it was with my late husband, it was our song that we danced to, and it was also played at his funeral. And the words are beautiful, and it kind of almost goes with that poem really well. I love the song "Both Sides Now," Joni Mitchell. "Keep Me in Your Heart for a While" by Warren Zevon, and then the Alison Krauss version of "I'll Fly Away." I just think it's beautiful. And I remember when my husband passed, he was on hospice at home. And it wasn't long after "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" had come out. And a lot of the music from that soundtrack, was about death and dying. And that's one of the songs. When the family was there, we had that playing in the background. We were with him. And it was a windy, sunny Tuesday morning. And it was just exactly like that song. And yeah, I really felt he flew away. Even we actually scattered. He was an avid cyclist and he loved the Tour de France. And we went over in 2000 and followed it around. And the Tour de France always ends by doing loops around the Eiffel Tower. So I took a little bit of his ashes there with his mom and his sister and his aunt. And it was really, I mean, I guess it's not unusual. It's very windy at the top, but we had one whole corner to ourselves. There was no one around us. And I opened up my bag and I opened up his ashes, and they didn't fall. They flew out, and it was just him. It was him. So, and I always joked, like, he's probably like, "Damn Americans," because I've gotten someone's eye down below. That was his sense of humor.
Forest.
Yeah.
Well, I think that all those songs just meld so perfectly together too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the time that we heard "Both Sides Now" together live, and it was completely messed up by the piano player.
Yes.
Totally messed up by the piano player.
She wrote the song.
Yes. I like the Joni Mitchell version also. I love the Joni Mitchell.
It was a little slower.
Yeah.
Inside joke, right?
What do you want done with your body after you die?
Right off the top of my head, I definitely would want to be cremated. Since because my late husband was, I'd want some of my ashes to be with him, and scattered anywhere that, like, my son, or family feels like they would want to visit me, because I don't have a place to visit him. My late husband, we just have his ashes. Maybe someday we'll be buried. A little bit of mine, I'm remarried now. So, I mean, I guess I can split some of my ashes perhaps, but I've also, been recently reading more about natural burials, and I'm not opposed to that either. I definitely do not want to be, embalmed and put in a coffin, and because that's not me anymore. And I think for a lot of people that's scary. I'm not afraid when I go to funerals, and I'm perfectly fine going up to the coffin and saying goodbye to my loved one and touching them. But a lot of people, I think that freaks them out. And and also I don't think it's good for the planet. And that's important to me too. So cremation or natural burial.
Yeah. It's a good thought process too. Thinking about like all the different scenarios. And I also think that the friendliness to the environment is becoming profound lately for everybody.
Yeah. Who knows what will be, I mean, who knows what will happen in 20, 30, 40 years, hopefully it'll be that long or longer until I'm gone. But yeah, I mean, I hope it'll be more common to do earth friendly burials, if you want to, or whatever you do to your body. So.
I agree. The next question is a little naughty, a little nice. It depends on how you go. Yeah. But after death, if you could haunt somebody, who would it be?
Yeah. And I gave this some thought because my friend who passed last year, we had a joke, I'm like, you better haunt me. And certain people though, you better haunt this particular person in a scary way. But I don't know that I believe in necessarily haunting people. But as I mentioned before, I want to show signs, whether it's like, a certain bird that I see, or a bumblebee or a butterfly, or a song comes on the radio, or, that kind of haunting. I had a special song with my husband, and it was not too long after he passed. His sister and brother-in-law came over, and she picked out some of his clothing or items that she wanted to keep. And later that day, I got in the car, and I was at a red light, and our song came on the radio, and the car in front of me, the license plate said "Je t'aime." And it was him. It was just him saying thank you. Like, I don't see license plates like that very often, but I still believe that, if I'm having a hard day, or I'm like, I feel like the world's so heavy right now, or things are hard for me. I might be thinking, God, I wish my dad could see me, or this or that. And I will get signs like that. Like it's a bird, recently, I hardly ever remember my dreams, but I had a dream about my dad recently. My mom's 95, and she's doing really good, but it's still a lot on me, because I'm the closest one distance wise, taking her to appointments and helping her with things. And as she slows down and gets more confused, and I was just like really struggling with like, am I being patient enough with her? Am I being, it's hard. Like I'm struggling. It was hard. And I'm like, Dad, please let me know if I'm doing well. And I had a dream that I was sitting in a chair, and he came and put his arms around me and just like lifted me up. And then my alarm went off. But the feeling of like lifting me high and the weightlessness, it made me feel like, yeah, he's happy with what I'm doing. So that's how I want to haunt people. That was a long way to say it, but that is how I want to haunt people.
Yeah, what a wonderful thought of being lifted.
Yeah,
by somebody who's passed. Yeah. Oh, I think we could all use that.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
And I totally think that was your dad. I absolutely think that was your dad. And I know that he thinks that you're doing a great job with your mom. And it is a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot to care for an elderly parent. So, yeah, but I know that he is definitely there watching you and rooting you on.
Thank you, Erica. That really means a lot. I mean, it's nice to, hear confirmation, because sometimes, you might share these things and people will raise an eyebrow and be like, yeah, that's good for you if it makes you feel that way. But you know what? Yeah, good for me, because it does make me feel that way.
Not here. You're not going to get that here. You're going to get absolute confirmation.
That's why we love you, Erica.
So our last question is probably, I think, the most poignant one, and I'm glad that I saved it for the end. What would you want people to remember you for after you die?
I hope my sense of humor, my creativity. I love to like cook and feed people, and kindnesses. I hope that I do enough kindnesses in my life that people remember me for that, and not like, oh, she had a messy house. Or if you're going to remember that, like, she had cool stuff in her house. She had lots of awesome books, and, just, she was herself, and didn't have to apologize about it, So
absolutely. Unapologetic living.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely remember good things, or I hope I live my life that there are good things that people can say about me and remember. And yeah, that's the mark I want to leave. So,
well, they will definitely happen. I know that. Unless we're the last people on earth.
Oh.
And even then, we'll all be waiting for each other afterwards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I hope I'm not the last on earth, but okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Getting to hear everybody's answers to these questions. Even though I know you, and I've known you for over a decade now.
Yeah.
It's still wonderful to experience this layer of you.
Oh, yeah,
and
it was fun.
I really appreciate you sharing your answers. I know that other people will be out there listening and sort of nodding, like, yeah, I totally get it. So
that's
and
great.
that's important. Thank you so much, Linda.
It was my pleasure.
It was good seeing you, babe. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. If you haven't answered the 10 questions yet, please consider signing up to be part of this important conversation. Let's continue breaking the silence together. See you next time.